Hi everybody, and welcome to another video this morning. Today, not really morning, but I was talking to a coworker who is Christian, and we were talking about Jesus's return and he was saying that he was frustrated because his son doesn't really take it seriously. He thinks he still has time, and he's kind of getting frustrated, telling his son that Jesus is in fact coming. I mean, we were talking about the signs that are happening, just like the Bible says, the birth of pains, right? And when you are in labor as a woman, I should know, even though I've never been in labor, I had C-sections, but still, when you're in labor, those pains start getting, the time between them start getting shorter and shorter, and that's what's been kind of happening, right? We see the labor pains of nature and everything going on. It seems like we had COVID, and then we had a variant, and now we have a war, and God forbid that something else happened, and it's the window between each one of these events becomes shorter and shorter with time. And it reminds me of, I have my notes here, by the way, but it reminds me of Genesis chapter 19, verse 15. The Bible says this, "But to his sons-in-law, he seemed to be joking." What is it talking about? Lot. Sodom and Gomorrah. They were not doing what was right in God's eyes. And so God sends angels and tells Lot, hey, God plans to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah because they are doing evil things. They are not listening. They are not keeping my words, etc., etc., etc. And so we are here to save you and your family. Go tell your sons-in-law, go tell your daughters that we have to leave this city because God will destroy the city. He has had enough. He's going to destroy. And it says in the verse that I just read, 19:15 in Genesis, that his sons-in-laws thought that he was joking. Because think about it. Even though they knew the connection that he had with Abraham, he was his family member, even though they knew the connection that he had with Abraham. They knew who Abraham was. They knew all of the story. I'm sure at the dinner table they sat down and they talked about it. And they knew all of the stories of who Abraham was and why he was so important and who God was and all of that. They still thought that he was joking, because when you're living everyday life and you look around and nothing like that had ever happened. No God had ever came into Sodom and Gomorrah and destroyed it completely with fire. You mean to tell me that fire is going to fall from the sky and is going to destroy all of us? Seriously? They looked around at their everyday life, and I'm sure they're like, doesn't seem to be happening. And a lot, he was an old man. The conversation in private was, man, our father-in-law is losing his marbles. He's done lost it, because now he's saying, first he was saying that we are all sinners. First he was saying that we were all bad and all of that. No. If he only understood, he's from a different generation. If he only understood that we have to be one, that we have to be loving one another, that we have to think of ourselves, that we have to be more understanding of each other's choices, that we deserve to be happy, and all we really need is love. But he's from a different generation. That might have been okay back then, but right now, that's not okay. And now he's saying that his God is going to come and destroy Sodom and Gomorrah with fire, and that we have to leave, that there are angels in his house. Those two men are angels in his house, and we have to leave. Yeah, right. And he seemed to be joking to them. Here's the thing though. Even though it didn't seem plausible for something like that to be happening, it didn't mean that it wasn't going to happen. They ended up being wrong. And the only ones saved was Lot and his 2 daughters. The sons-in-law were supposed to be saved as well. But because they looked around and it didn't seem plausible, they thought that he was joking, they didn't take him seriously, they lost their lives as well. They had the opportunity to be saved. They lost their lives as well. And I think that's what's happening in today's time, right? We are looking around at our everyday life, and it's always been kind of this way. And for as long as we can remember, people have been saying that Jesus is coming, and Jesus never comes. And we look around and it's like, but wars always were here. We've always had wars. We've always had pandemics. We've always had this, that, and such. Really? Jesus is gonna come now? Like he was supposed to come in 2000 in the millennium and he never did? You know what I mean? And so people don't take us seriously. People look around, even Christians, even us, and it's like, are you sure about that? Because if I said, okay, if I say that everything is going to be destroyed with a firecracker, people are going to laugh at me. Because all it's going to do is make a few loud noises. That's it. Right? But if I say that there's an atomic bomb coming to my house, then you better believe that I'm going to have every single security system coming to my house, raiding my house, making sure that I don't have an atomic bomb. You know, dramatic example, but you understand. The problem is that God doesn't use our ways of destruction. He doesn't use our ways of building things. He uses His. He can take something as small as a firecracker to destroy this world. So we have to remember that we're talking about God. And the crazier it is, the more likely it is for Him to use. It's kind of like people. He doesn't use people because they're all that. He uses them because they're broke and they can relate to others. You know? So just because it doesn't seem plausible that Jesus is coming, because things are happening like they always have, doesn't mean He won't. The signs are there. The Bible tells us what they are time and time again. And it's not even the signs that are important. It's not even, is He going to come in 10 years? Is He going to come in 5 years? Is He going to come now? Is the pandemic a sign that He's coming? That's not what's important. Here's what's important. Are you ready? Whether He uses a firecracker or an atomic bomb, whether He uses a little COVID or He uses something else, however it is, at whatever time, whether He comes today or He comes in 20 years or 100 years. The important question is not how or when. The important question is, are you ready? Are you ready to leave Sodom and Gomorrah? Are you ready to leave this city? There are angels preaching the gospel. There were 2 angels that went to Lot to warn him. And there are angels everywhere in the form of human beings preaching the gospel everywhere. In churches and on TV, on social media. Hello. On the streets. I just saw 2 guys with a sign saying Jesus is coming the other day on the street. There are preachers everywhere warning people. Hey, get out while you can. Save yourself while you can. Are you going to be part of the sons-in-law that thought that Lot was joking, that thought that all of those people are joking? Or are you going to actually be saved? Just because it didn't happen before, just because it doesn't really seem like anything is changing, just because we've been saying that Jesus has been coming for as long as you've been alive and he has never come, does not mean it won't happen. That's the important question. Are you ready? Are you ready to flee this world? Are you ready to go when he does come? Are you ready to be saved? Check your heart. Check your mind. And don't listen to the people around you that are trying to just say that it's nothing. God is warning you today. Jesus is coming. You have the chance to be saved, but that chance doesn't last forever. So make sure you're ready. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.